what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a slasher horror film, TOOLBOX Murders. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins one rainy night with an ambulance carrying an unknown patient and speeding away. A girl enters a convenience store and asks the cashier about what happened. The cashier said it was an accident of some sort. She then leaves the store and goes inside a building complex. Inside, everything needs repair as it is an old and run-down building. The dim lights overhead cannot wipe away the shadows that seem to linger in every corner. She asks two men what is happening as the lights seem to go on and off. One man says that there seems to be an electrical issue. She enters the elevator as another woman named Nell goes out of it and calls her husband. Meanwhile, the girl sees a box of tools on the elevator floor. The electricity suddenly goes off. Nell feels shaken, but thankfully, the power goes back on. She gets off on her apartment floor. She enters her bedroom, lies on her bed, and drinks wine. She puts on her robe and goes to the living room. She finds the safety latch of her apartment broken. She looks around, scared. Suddenly, a man in a balaclava chases after her. He is wielding a hammer. She picks up a weapon to protect her smelly body and hormones. But at that moment, lightning strikes, causing the electricity to go off again. It is pitch dark inside her apartment. When the light comes back again, the man chases after her smell like an angry bulldog. She falls on the sofa, with the man strangling her. Unable to move, it becomes easy for the man to strike her with the hammer. Her blood splatters on the apartment walls as the man repeatedly strikes her with the tool. During that time, the woman who got off the elevator a while ago goes to her apartment, waiting for her husband. They had just moved in that night. Nell does not like their situation and the building itself. The building manager knocks on the door and extends his welcome to the new tenants. He tells them that the building has a history, and then they talk about the faulty faucets and stove. The building manager instructs them to consult the handyman for any problems regarding the apartment. He tours them around the building. Nell notices that painted on one of the walls is a strange dark symbol of an inverted triangle and the letter V overlapping each other, forming a diamond at the center. The drawing looks like an ancient rune. They briefly meet a family of three, then the couple go back to their apartment. They kiss for a while without using their tongues, but then somebody knocks on their door. A woman next door named Dora invites them for tea. She leaves them after introducing herself. Another neighbor named Julia is surfing the internet and is on a dating site. She stops for a moment to change her clothes, not knowing that the son of Dora is spying on her using a webcam. One time, Nell is folding clothes when she hears a couple quarreling next door. She hears the sounds of things crashing on the floor. Nell goes to the elevator, and as luck would have it, the man who was involved in a quarrel earlier is also using the elevator. The man gets off the elevator, followed by Nell. Again, she sees a toolbox on the floor of the building. She walks along the dingy and dim hallway and suddenly bumps into the handyman carrying some tools. She asks for directions to the laundry room. She finds the place and talks with an elder. He has been staying in the building for a long time. Nell introduces herself to him as a teacher and her husband as someone at med school. He tells her about the building. Someone created the building complex for the use of movie stars. It's said that the men who were working to build the place all met a gruesome end. Meanwhile, Julia comes back to the building after going out earlier. She gets in the elevator. The handyman gets on it from the next floor at the same time. They talk for a while. Julia meets Nell in the corridor before she goes back into her room. Suddenly, a male voice is heard shouting at the apartment a few doors away from Julia's apartment. Nell goes near the door, but runs away when she hears another shout from inside. She calls the police, and two of them arrive at the scene. When they barge in, they find that there are two actors rehearsing their script in a movie. Nell walks away, ashamed as she has caused a scene. The neighbors are staring at her as she goes to her apartment. She tells her husband about it, and then both laugh when they hear their next-door neighbors letting go of their hormones. The walls are of paper-thin material. They cannot help but hear the sounds from the other rooms. The next morning, Nell is pushing a table against the wall, but she accidentally creates a hole in the wall. She finds a trinket box lodged inside the wall. She sees several teeth inside the trinket box and shows it to the building manager and the handyman. The manager instructs the handyman to throw the teeth away. He also tells the couple they will forfeit their security deposit if they break their lease. The couple leaves the room as the husband gets an emergency call from the hospital. Meanwhile, the handyman sees Julia by the elevator. She is with some man as they go to her room. The handyman looks at her with hormone longing. He seems to have fallen in love with Julia. Nell is going through her old photo album and falls asleep. She dreams that she's standing near a coffin. Inside was a corpse. She touches the hand of the dead man, who also takes hold of her hand. She awakens, feeling unsettled. She wakes up to a woman singing and strumming the guitar simultaneously. Nell turns on her radio to drown out the noise. In the other room, the mysterious man shoots at the annoying woman with a nail gun. The woman shouts for help, but no one hears her scream. One fatal nail to the woman's throat ends her annoying life. Nell hears some noise and calls the police. After a while, the police come with the manager and the handyman in tow. The police think there is no need to call the police, as it was just a quarrel between lovers. Nevertheless, they open the room and do not find anything unusual inside. They don't see the woman suspended from the bedroom ceiling with nails. Nell goes back into her apartment as her husband tries to appease her with his muscles. Meanwhile, the woman is shown to be alive, but unable to shout for help. The next morning, Nell hears strange noises from the intercom in the lobby. There are hammering and knocking sounds all over the place. Nell searches for the source of the strange sounds. Finding nothing, she bumps into the woman's boyfriend and asks him if he knows where the woman is. He denies any knowledge of her whereabouts and leaves on a motorcycle. The next day, Nell and Julia meet each other while jogging. They take a rest after that. Julia tells Nell that she will show her the neighborhood with its market and bookstores. Nell tells Julia about her husband leaving her alone most of the time because of his job. The night after, the neighbor boy is on his computer again. He is watching Julia on his spy webcam. Julia finds out that she has a broken doorknob. Dora finds out that her son is spying on Julia. Meanwhile, Julia is on the phone, complaining about her doorknob. From behind her, the strange man suffocates her with her curtain. She shouts for help, but it's already too late because the man makes a hole in her nape using a drill. The next day, Nell waits for Julia, but she doesn't arrive at their meeting place. Nell goes into the lobby, where she finds people asking the handyman about the noises inside the apartment complex. Nell knocks on Julia's door, but nobody comes to answer the door. The handyman tells her that Julia's car is in the garage, so she should still be inside the building. Nell goes back to Julia's room. Along the way, she hears Dora talking to her husband about how their son is spying on Julia. Nell knocks on the neighbor boy's apartment, asking him to take a look at his spy cam. The boy tells her that his parents erased his hard drive, so there is no longer a recording on Julia. Nell calls her husband to come home, but he is busy at work. Then she hears loud noises all over the apartment, so she cowers on the sofa, confused and frightened. The next day, she leaves Julia a note. She sees the elder and asks him about Julia. He makes a shushing sound, saying that the walls have ears and that the building has a personality, just like a person. The elder says that renovating the place is not a good move, not because of the danger of someone coming inside, but because of someone already inside the building. Nell takes a look at the magazine that the elder lent her a while ago. Inside, she finds a note stating, "Look for her in room 504. Nell searches for room 504, but can't find it. She asks the building manager and the handyman about the key to that room, but they can't find it either. She notices that all rooms ending in 4 have no keys either. After that, she goes to the Los Angeles Preservation Society. A man there tells her about the strange symbols all over the building and that they have stories. Nell sounds confused, as she thinks the signs are just mere decorations. She tells him about the missing apartments. He shows her some old newspapers regarding the history of the building. He also tells her that the owner of the building belongs to a society that tries to mix science and magic, and that the symbols are actually spells. Nell points out that the signs are found all over the blueprint. Thereby, they discover the existence of the missing rooms that the man calls a townhouse. The only problem is that they can't find an entrance to the place based on the blueprint. Nell copies the symbols on her arms and goes to her apartment, bringing the blueprint of the building. She then walks over to the building, searching for clues. She knocks on the walls of the building. Meanwhile, the handyman is silently watching her. One of the tenants gets stuck in the elevator. In the elevator, a hand from the hatch above suddenly reaches out to him, grabbing him by the neck. Meanwhile, the neighbor boy searches for his hard drive, finds it, and discovers that what Nell said is true. Nell reaches the upper floor where she finds a hatch. She tries to go down the hatch, but falls instead. Fortunately, Nell is carrying a flashlight, so she can see around the place. The neighbor boy knocks on Nell's room when Nell's husband arrives, but they don't find Nell there. Nell accidentally turns on the light. She uncovers a place dedicated to Hollywood, instruments for torture, and corpses. She shouts in fear. The handyman hears the commotion she has made and gets up to investigate. Nell sees a tenant killed directly in front of her, the head sawed horizontally. Meanwhile, her husband sees Julia killed by the madman, which can be seen on the computer screen. He sees the blueprint and the note from the elder. Nell accidentally hits some poles, creating a lot of noise as they fall. She sees someone picking up one of the poles. The man looks up, so Nell is able to see his face, so hideous to look at, just like a monster. As Nell looks down the stairway, the monster starts to go up the stairs. Nell looks for a place to hide. She goes inside on what seems like a tunnel, but her jacket gets entangled in a wire. She struggles to free herself from the monster, who's in hot pursuit of her. The men get some tools and goes inside a room where the monster was shouting a few minutes ago. They find out that the place is full of dead people, probably the previous tenants of the building. The doorman is caught by the madman and is nailed down to the floor. A chemical is poured over him until he dies. The men find Nell, but the building manager is caught and killed by the madman using a pair of shears as well as his mad muscles. The handyman is nowhere to be seen. Nell and her husband escape, but they fall to the next floor. They are surrounded by shrunken corpses, meaning that the dead bodies have been there for a long time. They try to find a way out, but then the elder finds them. He theorizes that the madman is a coffin birth, saying that the madman crawled out of his dead and buried mother's womb. They pass by many corpses, and hiding under them is the madman. The madman throws the elder's dying ass against the wall, killing him immediately. Nell's husband beats the madman's mad muscles with a rod, but the crazed man kidnaps Nell. He ties her to the floor and marks her forehead with strange markings. The madman is about to cut her with a saw when her husband comes in. He hits the madman with a steel rod and knocks a shelf onto him. He unties Nell and sets her free. The authorities arrive, but when they lift the shelf, the madman is nowhere to be found, not even the traces of his mad smell. Meanwhile, Nell goes to her apartment alone because her husband was carried by ambulance a while ago. She starts to pack up their belongings, but then the madman crashes into the room and tries to kill her again by strangling her. Nell gets a hold of a lamp and smashes it on his mad head. The madman hits her. When he is about to deliver the fatal blow, Nell holds her arms out over her head. The madman sees the symbols she has written on her arms and backs away. He's unable to come near her, possibly because the markings on her arms play some magic on him. The police come and shoot him down the window. He gets strangled by the rope he used on Nell a while ago. The story ends with the two policemen going to the window, expecting to see the madman hanging there, strangled and dead. Instead, he is nowhere to be found again and has vanished into thin air with his mad muscles, leaving horrors unsolved in the mysterious building. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.